Well, first of all, isn't my shirt cool? If you follow me on Twitter or Instagram, you've already seen me talk about this. But my assistant and wonderful buddy Tom makes these shirts, and they're super dope. Um, I will put the link in the description. And if I forget, because sometimes I do, the link is currently in my Insta bio. And my Insta's Ash Hardell, if you don't follow me. Today, let's start an open discussion, like, shareage of tips and coping mechanisms for dealing with dysphoria during sex, or during, like, physical intimacy. What are some ways that, what are some things you can do to help manage dysphoria before, during, and after sex? Obviously, creating an open line of communication is really important. You can talk about what is and isn't okay to touch, how you like to be touched. The language that you use to describe your parts can be very important. Perhaps you want to use gender-neutral language. Perhaps you want to use, like, gendered language that makes you happy. I think that our bodies are our bodies, and we can call our body parts whatever we find comfortable and affirming, just because you were taught that, in health class or in biology class or whatever, that a certain part of you would traditionally be called whatever, doesn't mean that in your own private times and in your own body, you can call your body whatever you want. Yeah, so I think using the correct language and using language that's affirming is really, really important. Having a conversation about how dysphoria can fluctuate is really, really important. Sometimes dysphoria can fluctuate, like, over long periods of time. I know that some people get more and or less dysphoric right before a major transition point. So, for example, a lot of people get more dysphoric about their chest right before top surgery because they're impatient, or they get less dysphoric because they know a solution is coming. Letting your partner know that just because you weren't dysphoric last week doesn't necessarily mean that you won't be dysphoric this week, or vice versa. Just because you were super dysphoric last week doesn't mean you're not, like, really confident, feeling yourself, and ready to go. Dysphoria fluctuates, not only in long-term things too, but also in short-term scenarios. So you could initiate sexual intimacy and not feel dysphoric, and then during sex you could be hit with a huge bout of dysphoria. And then just knowing that, because that kind of affects it. Well, not kind of. It can definitely, absolutely affect consent in that sex, because you can obviously consent to being sex and then validly change your mind, and then in that case the sex should stop. And dysphoria can play a role in that. Sometimes having a safe word or some kind of action in the event that dysphoria does flare up during sex can be really, really important. Sometimes safe words feel a little formal for people, or just bizarre. If you're like, unicorn, it can just, it can just, like, really take you out of the moment, which might be good, because you want to be out of the moment, but maybe it's too weird. Sometimes safe words for people who don't regularly use safe words are hard to start using. You can also use a normal word, like stop, or a lot of people do, like, a double tap. And a double tap it's easy because it's nonverbal. You don't have to build up the bravery. Sometimes you get all choked up when you get nervous. You don't have to build up the bravery with a double tap to just be like, it's over. And then what's helpful with that is your partner knows, like, that means I stop right now. And you know that if you do that double tap, that's what you're going to get, as long as you guys have a respectful, trusting relationship. And you can decide that, like, maybe there's no questions asked in that moment on the double tap. Maybe, like, you can talk about it later, you can unpack it later, but right now this just means we're done. Just hold me, I want to cuddle. Sex was too much, it became unfun, and now we're just doing this. Oh my gosh, a really cool thing just happened and I got a text about it. Whoa, that's nuts. I can't tell you what it is, though, because it's not my news to share. Whoa, cool. Anyway, another thing is the clothes you wear can the clothes you choose to wear and not wear during sex. I feel like there's like a lot of rules. We have to call certain parts certain things. We have to be totally naked during sex. We have to, like, there's all these rules that we can dismantle because our sex is our sex. So you can, like, wear a binder during sex. You can put on a prosthetic during sex. Now, I don't know a lot about prosthetics. So if you have any cool videos or resources, to teach me about prosthetics, that would be really neat. I know that some prosthetics, like, you can have like a strap on. Some people don't like that because it doesn't feel super like a part of you or attached. It feels like there's too much like of a disassociation. So there's actually insertable prosthetics, which a lot of people like. Some people don't like those because they don't fit right, they feel weird, you know, and etc. So yeah, you can wear a binder during sex. You can wear pants during sex, and your partner can just put their hand down your pants if it's too much, if that visual dysphoria is too much for you to like see something that you aren't comfortable with. So these are all things that are helpful. What else? Yeah, okay. Understanding that you and your partner might have to do some exploration. You don't always know what does and does not trigger dysphoria. Sometimes you have to try things. And kind of having some kind of like verbal or explicit prep before that can be helpful because it can create like a safety. So you can be like, I want to try this. I've never tried it before. I could love it or it could be not great. So you know that and I know that. Let's do it and find out. But be aware that we might just have to stop. Like, just being vulnerable and communicative like that is nice. So yeah, so just, I guess to wrap up, use clothes and tools that make you happy, use language that is affirming, talk about how dysphoria fluctuates, talk about what is and isn't okay to touch and how you like to be touched. Yeah, is there anything else? Is there anything else that is helpful? I want to know. Share. And if you have any resources or any websites or anything about dysphoria sex, put those in the comments. All right, see ya. Thank you so much. I kissed you. I don't know why. I just did, though.